Hello and welcome. My name is Rachel and I'm a shamanic transformational coach and energy worker. And I help men and women who feel stuck in unhealthy patterns so they can live a life with passion and with purpose. So that they are then a powerful force of strength, of courage, and of confidence in their lives. You see, I know how difficult it is from personal experiences to make changes or even consider to make changes when you're feeling anxious, when you're feeling depressed, when you're feeling burnt out and exhausted, because that was me. But this is where I can help with my one-to-one coaching, my group coaching programs, my events and my retreats. So my purpose is to be an enabler, sharing my wisdom and excuse me, and giving men and women the safe, sacred space that they need to make significant life changes. This is all using my proven, life-changing coaching transformational approaches and combining this with shamanic principles, practices, and healing modalities. So I help men and women awaken their limitless higher potential, igniting their powerhouse and allowing them to move forward with divine soul-driven purpose, replacing fear with faith, replacing weakness with strength, and replacing internal struggle with confidence. Then they can effectively reclaim their life back in just 3 months. So they can be more, they can do more, and they can have more, and fully embody their inner warrior or warrioress to break through all that holds them back. So are you ready to take your step towards a happier, healthier and fulfilled and more conscious life? Well, Pura Vida Your Life, it all starts with you. So this video is about authenticity and vulnerability. So are you holding back? So our relationships are based around communication, what we communicate and how we communicate, and what we hold back from communicating to others. Well, I invite you on this month, in this month of March, there's a theme here. So I invite you to find your authenticity and to step into creating your authenticity in your relationships, as this will help, as then you will own who you are, what you are saying, and to express your true feelings. And if this fills you with horror, then this is something that you need to work on. So I encourage you to strive towards authenticity in your communication, which will in turn create openness and vulnerability, and this will deepen your relationships. So how do you find your authenticity? Well, the first step is to do a self-inventory of all the things that make you, you. So what are your convictions? What are your morals? What are your passions? What matters to you in life? If someone were to say to you, tell me a little bit about yourself, would you limit your response to listing your name, your age, your job title? That's the natural thing that I think we all do. But are these things the things that really make you, you, your identity? I would share that it doesn't define you as your true self. In this professional and busy world, and at times we don't have the opportunity to really connect, in getting to know someone is a very important part of who we are and the relationships that we will develop. So ask questions and share more information that truly matters to you. It will make those conversations more meaningful. So what barriers are blocking you from sharing your true self? Are you struggling with unequal power dynamics or generational age gaps? Are you afraid to say something that someone will not agree with, leaving you feeling misunderstood or that your ideas are respected or worthy? Well, authenticity and vulnerability, they go hand in hand. In order to express your ideas and needs honestly, you have to expose yourself, which in turns carries the risk of getting hurt. And in Brené Brown's word, is vulnerability takes courage. And boy, it does. So you need to be vulnerable with yourself and others. And vulnerability is something that can be very gentle and yet very strong at times. It is a gift to have people in life that draw out your vulnerability. And the reason why so many people struggle with vulnerability is because they have tried opening up in the past but were shut down. And I've had experience of that for myself, but that doesn't stop me in showing up in the world and being authentic and vulnerable. So if that's the case for you, then think about addressing the boundaries that you have with people. And any given relationship needs to be in a safe space before any vulnerability can take place. So being authentically you means presenting yourself as you really are. The positive effects of being you is to feel like you are fully alive and present. Yet this does require vulnerability. While you allow yourself to be vulnerable, you allow for your emotions to surface. And you process them instead of letting them pile up internally without processing them. Often people who don't process emotions shut down and become depressed. And your emotions matter as they are real. They're a real part of who you are and how you are living life. And a good place to start processing emotions is in a safe place, and that can be through coaching. And that is something that I offer to my clients. So what I have noticed from my own experiences, my personal experiences, and also through coaching others, is that people report having relationships in their life which they cannot speak their mind or be themselves, which in turn really hurts them in the long run. These relationships may be with a friend, it may be with a relative, it could be with a significant other, it could be with colleagues. And the common theme is that the communication seems one-sided and that the person just tolerates what the other person is communicating without being able to provide honest feedback. And over time, the person who is not able to communicate their thoughts and feelings, they will become sad, they will become depressed, and they will become anxious about the situation and tries to look for a way out. However, it becomes more and very difficult to change unhealthy communication patterns that have lasted for many years. So it could be that this has been ongoing and it's very difficult to make those changes. But I invite you to take some small steps this month with me in these tiny love challenges that I will be sharing every day, and I have been sharing since the 1st of March on my social media pages. So if you missed them, then just go back and you'll see in the posts, and it will be the theme for the month, authenticity and vulnerability. Which in turn, focusing on these, on authenticity and vulnerability, will deepen the love that you have for yourself, that you have for others, and the world around you. So we are all looking for more in our lives. And these tiny, tiny steps will help you develop closer bonds in relationships and let go of any anger, any bitterness, helping you to better understand yourself and your loved ones, along with turning strangers into friends. Well, also friends were strangers at one point, weren't they? Well, the strength is in giving. Physical affection, when offered earnestly, is a deep and raw form of expression. It is simply an exchange of energy. There is nothing to hide behind. I used to be afraid that by giving my love to others in this purest way, I'd be exposed. People would access the deepest parts of me and see my vulnerability, and then they'd realise how desperately I needed love. But what I hadn't realised is that by allowing myself to give love and to show my vulnerability, I was actually demonstrating my inner strength. In my embrace with others, my message didn't have to be, I need love, please give it to me. Instead, it could be, here I stand, just as I am, full of love, seeking to join my love with yours. And with this change in intention, it's very healing, it's very nourishing, and it's very empowering. And when we hold each other in an embrace, giving and receiving connects us to each other at a soul level in a way that mere words just cannot. So opening yourself up and asking for love can feel incredibly scary. But when you come from a place of strength and self-love, knowing that you deserve what you are asking for, a hug can be a transformative exchange of two souls at their most open and vulnerable, and yet so very, very strong. So here's a challenge for you today, should you choose to accept it. It's a golden gift just for you. So my challenge for you is start a conversation with a stranger. And my deeper wisdom on this is comment on something about your shared experience. It could be that you're waiting in line together at a queue at a supermarket or whatever, or riding on the train. Offer them a compliment or ask them a question about something you notice about them. It could be the book that they're reading, the paper they are reading, or where they are off to next. Or even about the weather, because you know how we just love to talk about the weather. It's beautiful and shiny here today, sun shining. So I've mentioned that a few times to people today. But we like to talk about the weather, don't we? And it can connect us. It's a common place to start. And then once you've done this, later in the day, have some reflection. Have some reflection over this and think about how often do you start a conversation with a stranger? And how do you usually respond when a stranger starts a conversation with you? And have you ever formed a friendship with someone who wasn't once a stranger? Well, we all have. And then later again that day, have some time to think about how did it go? Think about what did you gain or learn through the experience of connecting with somebody you know. You see, creating awareness is the first step to solving the problem. And as I said, for the month of March, I will share a series of daily little love challenges just like this, with an opportunity for reflection and learnings. So enjoy the growth and the transformation that brings. And I know how difficult it is to make changes or even consider making changes when you're feeling anxious, depressed, burnt out, and exhausted. This is where I used to be. And then this is where I can help you with my one-to-one coaching. I help men and women awaken their limitless high potential, igniting their powerhouse so they can move forward with divine soul-driven purpose. If you want to find out more, you can book a call with me. And are you ready to take your first step towards a happier, healthier, and fulfilled and more conscious life? Well, thank you for joining me. I look forward to seeing you again for next week's Pura Vida Your Life happenings, for insight, inspiration, and more golden nuggets and deeper wisdom to help you live a happier, healthier, and more conscious life. So until then, Pura Vida Your Life, it all starts with you. So until then, Pura Vida.